Today on the Sales Life, what do you do when you had all the advantages or you had none of the advantages and life dealt you a bad hand? I'm going to show you what to do from here. All right, TSL, let's get it. Welcome back to another episode of The Sales Life. And The Sales Life is just not for those in the sales profession, because selling is a life skill. You don't get in life what you deserve. You get in life what you negotiate. And how well you negotiate depends on if you have a settling mentality or a selling mentality. See, we're all selling our way through life. And so you can settle and get run over in life, even if you're doing well. You never settle, because see, there's still opportunities. That's why I say you get in life not what you deserve. You get in life what you negotiate. If you deserve it, whether it's good or bad, then you've closed yourself off to opportunities. But if you decide that instead I'm going to negotiate, and dude, I've had some rock bottom moments. The only thing that kept me going was the ability to negotiate, was to keep selling. Using the 8 C's: communication, connection, curiosity, consistency, creativity, continuous learning, being coachable, and being able to handle the criticism. See, you have access to all of those skills, yet you may not be igniting them. And so each and every episode, we're going to help you ignite and unlock those skills that you already have. Today, man, we're going to take a passage out of Kevin Hart's book, I Can't Make This Up. And before we rock out with today's episode, man, be sure and hit the subscribe button. That way you can be alerted to any future episodes. That way you don't miss any of them. And while we're going along, also be sure and hit the like, share, and comment. Love to hear your comments and your takeaways from each and every episode. So I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday, and I was talking about Kevin Hart's book. And he's like, wait a minute, Kevin Hart has a book? The comedian Kevin Hart? I'm like, yeah, he's got a book. And, you know, occasionally what I'll do is I'll go back. I'll just go and look on my shelf and just pull a random book off the shelf. I've read his book some time back. I think we talked about it in previous episodes. I think it was about the ending of the book. But we talked about the book. So anyway, I pulled the book back off the shelf, and I just pull a random section out of it, and then I just start reading. And I came across this passage, tremendous passage. And this is on page 250 for those who are reading along. Kevin Hart writes, he says, you can work hard. You can be talented. You can know all the right people. You can follow all the right lessons. You can be smart. You can be rich. You can be beautiful. You can be everything. And still, life can deal you a bad hand. So what do you do in the face of a reality that the world can be indifferent, cold, and even cruel? What do you do then? Kevin Hart writes, all you can do is play the odds. Because if you choose to give up, you can be fairly certain that life will pass you by. But if you choose to try your best, you can at least tip the balance significantly in your favor. I love this part. Life is not about the result, because we all have the same outcome in the end. Life is about the effort you put into it. Seth Godin's one of his favorite, and any of those who listen to Seth Godin, man, if you don't know who Seth Godin is, just type in Seth in the Google search and you'll come across. He doesn't write very long passages. His books are super short, 18 bestsellers. And one of his favorite mantras that he has, and I love this one, especially applies to your sales life. If I fail more than you, I'm winning. So I'm going to play a clip, real quick clip, about a minute long, of him unpacking the idea, and then I'll come back behind that and support that.
Whoever fails the most wins. So are you a winner because you failed a lot? Well, if I'm a winner, it's because I failed a lot. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the key to that sentence is understanding that if you fail too big, you don't get to play anymore.
Oh.
So that means you're not going to fail the most. So part of failing the most is strategically failing at the right scale. So when I was a book packager, I would send out, a proposal, 30 proposals a month, 20 proposals a month, 40 proposals a month to different people. And if any of them didn't work, I was only out 50 cents. That's really different than being a real estate developer, betting everything you own on a building that sits vacant, because now you're out of the game.
Right.
And so my mindset here is find a space where you get to play for a while, long enough that you can get good at it by failing, and make it so that your failures serve a purpose. They're not annoying other people. They're done in the service of generosity.
Dude, you got to go back and listen to that. See, what's important is Seth Godin says, if I fail more than you, I'm winning. But see, what you have to remember is it's not failing just to fail. It's failing at scale. Because see, if I can fail and keep showing up, then every time I come back to it, I'm a little bit better. I'm a little bit stronger. And I wrote in the margins of Kevin Hart's book, keep playing. Because see, if I keep playing, I have the same advantages that everyone else has. I have the same advantages. If you're a person that's got tremendous resources, that's got all the good looks, that's got all the connections, or if I'm the other guy who is not very good looking, who is double broke, who came from a very impoverished background, who has no education, I have the same advantages that person has. And he has the same advantages that I have. Because what's going to happen, no matter race, creed, color, resources, background, looks, no matter what, life, as cruel and harsh as it can be, will deal all of us, everybody, a bad hand. And what do you do after you've been dealt a bad hand? You have a choice to make. You have a choice to make. You can fail and walk away from it and say, oh, well, if only I had these advantages. Or you can sit there and revert back to the cozy and comfort of your good looks and fortunes that you've already amassed. You can do all of that. Or you can keep playing. What a wonderful advantage to know that I have the same advantages even in the midst of my disadvantages. The only distinguishing characteristic is one man's going to turn back and one man's going to keep playing. And I do know this, that if I keep playing, I'll tip the odds. Kevin Hart even said that. I mean, he's living proof of that. You ought to read his book. I mean, this dude was borrowing cars to get to drive where people were saying, dude, you could be a manager of a Foot Locker. And he said, no, I got to follow this dream. I got to do this thing. Even when people were telling him he was stupid, it was crazy. One more time, Kevin, I'm not doing this anymore. Sleepless nights, long drives like, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours to get to a venue. Small clubs now, dumps of clubs. He wasn't Kevin Hart then. He was Kevin the Bastard. That was his stage name. He would get there. He would drive all that way, wait for hours to get on stage, and they'd say, well, you're not getting on tonight. Drive all the way back home. Come back and do the same thing over and over again. But see, what he did and what you need to do is you got to keep playing. Because if I do, I tip the scales significantly. That's an important word, bro. I will tip the scales significantly in my favor. So you got to understand something. You'll always have one more chip. You'll always have one more card to play. Because, bro, look, you're not broke. You're just poor in mindset, in ideas, and execution. Let me repeat that for you. You're not broke. You're just poor in ideas and execution. See, I can afford to fail. I can afford to fail. I can afford to fail in sales. I can afford to fail at the TSL, at the sales life. I can afford that because, see, I'm failing at scale. It's not, this is, I'm going under after this. There's no way. Because, see, I can fail at scale. See, I can put content out here. What's the absolute worst thing that can happen? No one shows up. Now, I could get pissed off and say, okay, well, not enough. The metrics aren't there. People aren't listening to my stuff. It's not resonant. Nobody's sharing my content. I could do that. And I could walk away and say, oh, well, it's not meant for me. Think about how many people do that. They start a business. They start a creative. They start a podcast. You know how many podcast episodes most people do when they start a podcast? 6 or 7. I'm 100 times that. Because I can fail at scale. The most it costs me is effort. But see, here's the twist. I can afford to fail at scale. Because, see, I'm tied to the effort, not the result. See, the effort keeps you fluid. Because, see, the results are going to show when the results will show. Until is my time frame. There is no arrival date for me. There is no land of the milk and honey for me. I just continue to improve. I mean, if you go back and listen to hundreds of episodes before, they're terrible. And I hope hundreds and thousands of episodes from now, you listen to this episode and you say, that was terrible. Because it means I'm growing. See, I'm tied to the effort. The effort is what's going to keep you going, man. It's going to keep you growing. It's going to keep you in that mindset where you say, if I fail more than you, I'm winning. And most people take that bad hand, that bad month, that bad situation in their life, and they turn away and they walk away. If you're tied yourself to the results, it's going to keep you rigid and fixed, because you're going to find that you're going to compare yourself to someone else. And because your blueprint doesn't look like their blueprint, you're going to give up. And life will pass you by. You think life gives two whims whether or not you stop playing? They don't care. Life's going to go on without you. And that's what you think. You think life is just going to show up and be like, oh, well, Marsh parked it, man. Maybe we need to stop too. No, life's going to continue on. And that's what you got to understand. You got to keep playing, man. You got to keep playing. Even when life deals you a bad hand, keep playing. Because I know this, if I fail more than you, I'm winning. Go win today. Keep failing today and stay amazing. Remember, the greatest sale that you will ever make is to sell you on you, because you're more than enough. Stay amazing. Stay in the sales life.